Welcome back to Lit Garage. Today I want to build an off-road crazy car. Why? Well, you must have all seen people, as soon as they're on crazy carts, they go a little bit off-road and bump straight over. So my idea of this is to use slightly bigger wheels with rubber on them. You can find these if you just search up for, I think I put in fishing trolley cart wheels and the rubber rather than being solid nylon. So hopefully when they go off-road, this is the plan anyway, that they don't dig in. I've got a 48 volt 20 amp hour battery. I've also got a 48 volt 1000 watt front scooter wheel, disc brake, go-kart seat, yeah, and then basically this is what I think the plan was. Weld a bit of a rectangle together like this, about 4 wheels on the corners, weld that in around there so that sits the wheel in, and yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it going across grass. If not, it's just going to be a bit bigger than a crazy car, but I think it's going to work, hopefully. But yeah, let's get into it, let's get started, let's go. So, what I think I'm going to do to start off with is get all my 4 right angles cut to length.
So then after measuring all 4 bits of tube and marking them with a permanent marker, I then took an angle grinder and cut them all down to length. Then using my MIG welder, tacked them all into place.
So now I've welded my basic shape together, and I need to take these wheels, mount them on all 4 corners like this.
So what I did to mount my wheels on all 4 corners was take a section of 25mm tube and cut it down to size. I then measured the correct distance for the wheels to fit on top of the tube and tacked them into place, and then repeated the same process the other side. I then flipped it over and welded all around the top to make sure it was nice and secure.
So yeah, day 2 of the build. Yesterday I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. Corin's come up today to come give me a hand. He's the madman, the one that crashes everything. Next thing we're going to do is build the front forks on this wheel. So what we're going to do is use these bits to make forks. Like these things on, which we've drilled out and cut out. And then weld it onto this head tube for some spinny business. That on top. Yeah. So hopefully it all works. So let's get to it.
Then Kyron took the 2 bits of metal that we'd already pre-drilled and cut out, tacked them onto 3 bits of 25mm tube that we're just putting at right angles at the correct length for the wheel.
So we've now done the front forks. We've got, is it a U or a V? V shape that I bent. So we put this in here like that. Have a bar that goes up from here to here, and then from there to there. Weld it in. Steering wheel on it. Do some spinny business.
Then taking our U shape or V shape, whichever one you want to call it, marking it to the correct length and cutting it down to size, then tacking it in and welding it in. We then cut 2 more bits of tube down to size and using a spirit level, making sure that the front forks and the head tube were level. Then we turned over the whole chassis and welded all underneath to make sure it was all properly welded and secure, grinding off some welds.
Next thing is we're going to get the steering wheel welded on, get the seat mounted where we're comfortable, get the battery in it, start wiring it. But yeah, we'll talk you through that as we're going along anyway. But yeah, I think the next step is just to put the steering wheel on, get that done. Sweet. That's it.
We then took the steering wheel and centered it onto the head tube, tacked it into place, and then fully welded it all the way around, making sure it's nice and secure. And then we got it off the table and put it on the floor. As you can see, it was all sitting level and nice.
Finished welding the wheel in, putting the steering wheel on. So now it's time to, I think we're going to cut a sheet of metal out, screw on here, square.
That's
Yeah, might as well.
31 by 39.
There, wiring it up. We're just about to plug it all in and see if it works. You're plugging it in then? Will it blow up? You need the key, didn't you? Oh, as well.
Where's the key?
So we've got these cool little features here. Whether it'll work or not, we're fixing to find out. Does the... There you go. Well, that's come on. Throttle ain't working. Does it tell you what throttle? So we've got power then.
100%.
So we've got power.
54 volt.
Nothing on there.
The throttle.
Take two. Have another go. So we've managed to blow about 5 controllers up. Burnt all the electrics out, burnt this motor out. We cannot get this wheel in this crazy kart going. So what we've done is we've managed to find a scooter with a rear wheel drive motor. We've stripped it. So first we took the battery out that we'd pre-tested with it, stripped off all the electrics, took the back end off, and then cut off the front end for the head tube and used that. So now we're going to take them parts. We're going to cut this old wheel off, basically start again with the motor, get it all wired up. We know this works because we've rid it, we've tested it. So we're going to get this on there now, and so this is the motor we've got now. This is what we're going to be using. We're going to cut this out. We then used an angle grinder to cut out all the work that we'd already done, but it had to be done. We couldn't get the wheel working, so we had to cut it out. Then using a grinding disc in the grinder, grind all the old welds off and cut the old steering wheel back off the head tube that we'd previously welded on. And then taking the head tube off the new scooter that we'd bought and using a grinder again to cut off the head tube. And we then needed to mount the head tube to the front wheel. So what we did, we cut off the old suspension mounts and where it mounted onto the old scooter, we cut them off flat. Then using a grinding disc cleaned up the surface, both surfaces, so we got a nice strong clean weld. We then measured the centre of the wheel so we could get the head tube in the centre and weld it up using a MIG welder. Once we'd finished welding it all around and making sure it was nice and secure, we then needed to mount the steering wheel. So we literally just put it on as flat as we could get it and welded it up in centre. We then needed to make sure we had enough clearance for the front wheel to turn round with the wheel, so we had to bend 2 bits of pipe, which we use using this pipe bender, which is actually made for plumbers. But the madman jumps on top of it and gets it to bend some pipe, so I can't fault him. He loves it. Just check him out jumping on it though, come on. Gotta give him credit where credit's due. Needed to cut the 2 bits of pipe that we'd just bent down to size, so after a few measurements, we then cut them up with the angle grinder down to size and notched the ends out, just grind. We then took the 2 bits of tube that we just notched out and then centered the wheel up and tacked the 2 bits of tube into place so the wheel was nice and level and centered. We then fully welded it all the way around to get it nice and secure. So we've now got it welded up front to back. Kyron's stripping a couple of wires now. So we're gonna get the battery plugged onto it and make sure that it still works. So in a minute we'll see if this time it's actually gonna work, but it turns. So what do you say?
You're not allowed to touch any of this.
Why am I not allowed to touch any of
Because you
it?
kept blowing the last ones up.
I kept blowing the last ones up. It's not very nice to me, is he? But it's very true. So we've got the battery, let's plug it in and let's find out if she will work. Will the wheel spin is the question. Come on, we're working. There we go. So yeah, now it's time to get a seat on it.
So the seat I'm going to be using is just a normal go-karting seat, fiberglass one. So what I needed to do to mount that was weld 4 uprights on either corner, and then two cross members onto that, and then drill 4 holes into the cross members so we can get some bolts in our seat.
So we've got the seat on, welded on, as you've just seen. So now we need to work out where we're going to put the throttle. So we've got this old set of handlebars here that we're going to weld on, so it goes there somewhere. So we're just going to cut these off here, weld that onto there, and then we'll have like a throttle handlebar on top of the steering wheel. I think it's going to work, so let's get into this bit and let's get it done and get it tested, hey? So, the shopping trolley has returned. Remember, we put the e-bike front wheel on this and it didn't really work that well. So we're thinking we're going to put this onto there. So we're going to get this teared down, cut out, and then we're going to get it welded onto there. And then we're going to go for a test ride, see what it goes like.
So after measuring the shopping trolley and sitting in it, we realised it wasn't going to fit. So we had to cut the shopping trolley up into 4 pieces and then patch the middle bits in as best as we could. We need another shopping trolley really to match it exactly the same, which we'll probably source at another date, but just for now we've just patched it in. This is a temporary fix, a bit of a bodge, but it's actually not a bodge, it's just improvising to get the job done on the time of the day. So there it is in all its glory. The 48 volt, 1000 watt scooter, shopping trolley, crazy car, whatever you want to call it, it's here. We've got it done, it's working. So we're going to get it tested on some concrete, some grass and some gravel to see if it's an all-terrain vehicle like I wanted.
So what can you break? Come on, go.
We're on a bit. Take it up there. Go up to there. Come back down. Going dead now. Hi, Das. You want to go? Later, innit? You having to go, Das? Might get you dirty. You don't care, no? Well, she got it. Das, turn it! Turn, that's it. That's it. Now we'll go round in the circle then. That's got the angry bit. She loves that thing.
Yeah.
Look, that's all she does. Bounces on it, she's got it. I think it's wet today. Das, what do you reckon to it? Have we done it?
It's raining.
It's been raining, hasn't it? Because look at your face.
Dad, the wheel gets stuck in the nose.
So yes, we've got it finished. We've test rode it, as you can see. It does alright on stones, concrete and grass. And even Darcy likes it.
I love it.
So thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like, subscribe and drop us a comment below. If you want to see us take this to a shopping centre, come on, see you next time. Let's go.